My beloved child, I know there are nights when your body lies down, but your heart keeps walking through every room of your family. I know there are nights when your eyes are closed, but your spirit is still standing at the door of your children, your spouse, your parents, your siblings, your grandchildren, and every person whose name is stitched into the deepest place of your love. I see how you listen for sounds no one else hears. I see how quickly your heart moves when the phone rings late, when a message is not answered, when a conversation ended with tension, when someone you love walks away carrying pain they would not let you touch. My beloved child, I know the private burden of the parent who wonders if they have done enough, of the spouse who is carrying worry behind a calm face, of the sibling who feels responsible for keeping peace in a family that has known too much division. I know the grandparent who prays in the quiet, the caretaker who gives strength while feeling empty, the intercessor who whispers names before me because no one else understands how heavy those names have become. I saw the times you looked around your house and felt as though every person's safety, choices, wounds, future, and healing had somehow been placed upon your shoulders. I saw the love behind it. I saw the fear beneath it. I saw the exhaustion you tried to call responsibility because you did not want to admit how tired your soul had become. But listen to me tonight, my beloved child. I can cover what you cannot carry. I can reach what your hands cannot reach. I can stand guard where your eyes cannot watch. This is not a night for fear to sit beside your bed like a ruler. This is not a night for anxiety to speak as though it has authority over your house. I did not bring you to this moment so you could tremble beneath the weight of every unfinished story in your family. I brought you here so you could remember that I am God over the places where your strength ends. I know about the phone you keep checking. I know about the conversations you replay, wondering if you should have said more, said less, called sooner, stayed quiet longer, warned them again, forgiven them faster. I know the worry over children who are growing beyond your control, over finances that feel thin, over marriages under pressure, over sickness in the body, over loved ones who have drifted far from prayer, far from wisdom, far from the covering you wish they would choose. I know the family conflict that makes your stomach tighten before gatherings. I know the old pain that rises when certain names are mentioned. I know the fear that comes when someone you love is not living the way you prayed they would live. My beloved child, your love is real. Do not despise your tenderness. Do not call your concern weakness. The heart that aches for family is not a small heart, but you were never created to be the savior of your household. You were created to love, to pray, to speak truth, to forgive, to bless, to stand in faith, but not to sit upon the throne that belongs only to me. When you try to carry what only I can carry, even holy love begins to feel like chains. And tonight I am not scolding you for caring. I am calling you out from beneath a burden that was never shaped for human shoulders. So if this message is touching the burden you have carried for your family, gently like this video as an act of agreement, not with fear, but with faith. Subscribe for prayers of protection and peace, so your heart can continue being strengthened in my presence. And write in the comments, God is covering my family tonight. Let those words become a small altar of surrender. Let them rise from your trembling heart as a declaration that your family is not uncovered, not forgotten, not abandoned, and not beyond my reach. Now, my beloved child, breathe slowly. Let your shoulders lower. Let the names come before me one by one. The son, the daughter, the husband, the wife, the mother, the father, the brother, the sister, the one who is sick, the one who is angry, the one who is lost, the one who is silent, the one you cannot fix, the one you cannot follow, the one you cannot convince. Tonight, the family burden must move from your trembling hands into my faithful hands. Not because you stopped loving them, but because you have finally remembered that I loved them first. My beloved child, you have been standing watch for so long that your soul has almost forgotten what rest feels like. You have stood like a night watchman over your family, listening for danger before it reaches the door, watching for signs of trouble before anyone else notices, trying to sense the storm while it is still far away. You have trained your heart to wake quickly. You have trained your mind to prepare for what might go wrong. You have looked at faces, tones, silences, habits, messages, appointments, moods, bills, symptoms, and choices, wondering if something hidden was beginning to break. And because you love deeply, you told yourself that this constant watching was simply what love required. But my beloved child, I saw what that watch has cost you. I saw the nights you prayed over a child who would not listen, a spouse who would not open their heart, a parent whose health frightened you, a family member trapped in cycles you could not break. I saw the nights you asked me to protect someone who was not thinking clearly, to reach someone who was running from wisdom, to soften someone who had become hard, to rescue someone whose decisions were cutting into your peace. I saw you lie awake while the house was quiet, not because your body did not need sleep, but because guilt whispered, if you rest, something will happen. Listen to me carefully, my beloved child. That voice was not always responsibility. Many times it was fear, wearing the clothing of responsibility. It sounded noble because it used the language of love. It told you that worry meant devotion, that exhaustion meant faithfulness, that if your mind stopped circling the problem, your family would be left uncovered. But I did not ask you to keep yourself afraid in order to prove that you care. I did not ask you to offer your peace as payment for their protection. Love may keep watch and prayer, but fear keeps watch as though I am absent. Love brings names before me, but fear tries to hold those names tighter than my hands. There is a difference, my beloved child, between faithful love and frightened control. Love prays, love guides, love protects, where protection is truly given into your hands. Love makes the phone call, speaks the truth, prepares the meal, sits beside the hospital bed, gives wise counsel, sets holy boundaries, and shows up again with tenderness when the heart is tired. But fear tries to control outcomes that belong to me alone. Fear tries to force open hearts before they are ready. Fear tries to rehearse every future before it arrives. Fear tries to stand in every doorway, answer every danger, correct every path, and prevent every sorrow. And when fear cannot control what it sees, it turns around and accuses you as if you have failed. Do not receive that accusation. You are not failing because you cannot be everywhere. You are not failing because you cannot make every loved one choose wisdom. You are not failing because you cannot heal every sickness, repair every relationship, stop every consequence, or silence every storm before it touches your house. You are human. You are beloved. You are called to intercede. But you are not called to be omnipresent. You are called to love, but you are not called to replace my throne. You are called to stand in faith, but you are not called to become the covering that only I can be. Remember what is written in Psalm 121, that the one who keeps Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Let that word enter the place in you that has been afraid to close its eyes. I do not grow weary over your family. I do not become distracted from their needs. I do not turn my face away when night comes. I do not sleep through the moment you fear. Heaven has not closed its eyes over your house. The keeper is awake. The keeper is present. The keeper is watching with wisdom that does not panic and love that does not fail. My beloved child, you can make the call, but I can enter the room. You can give counsel, but I can touch the heart. You can drive to the hospital, but I can stand beside the bed before you arrive. You can pray outside the door, but I can move behind the door. You can speak to the ear, but I can speak in dreams. You can warn about the road, but I can cover the road. You can sit in the courtroom, but I can move in hidden places where decisions are formed. You can hold a trembling hand, but I can steady the soul beneath the trembling. You can love them with the love I placed inside you, but I can reach the places in them that even your deepest love cannot enter. So, tonight, my beloved child, release the false crown of control. Lay down the exhausting belief that your fear is the fence around your family. Let prayer remain, but let panic go. Let love remain, but let torment go. Let wisdom remain, but let the illusion of control fall from your hands. Do not confuse faithful intercession with carrying the entire weight of divine responsibility. Pray for them, yes. Bless them, yes. Guide them when I give you words, yes. Show up when I open the door, yes. But do not stand awake as though I have gone to sleep. You have been standing watch, but you are not the covering. I am. Remember Moses' mother, my beloved child. Remember Jochebed, who carried a promise in a time of danger. She did not hold a child in peaceful days. She held him beneath the shadow of a cruel decree. She heard the fear moving through her people. She knew the command that had gone out against the sons of Israel. She knew that the enemy had spoken death over what I had already marked for deliverance. And still, in a hidden place, she nursed him, covered him, watched him, loved him, and tried with all the strength of a mother's heart to keep him near. Do you think I did not see her trembling hands? Do you think I did not hear the breath she held when danger came close? Do you think I did not know the ache inside her as she looked upon the face of the child she loved and realized that her arms, though full of love, were not large enough to protect him from everything rising against him? She hid him as long as she could. She did what love could do. She prepared what wisdom could prepare. She did not act carelessly. She did not release him because she stopped caring. She made the basket. She covered it with pitch. She placed him gently inside. She took what was fragile, what was beloved, what was tied to her own heart, and she set him upon waters she could not command. My beloved child, sometimes release is not the absence of love. Sometimes release is love bowing before my sovereignty. Sometimes the holiest protection is not holding tighter, but placing what you love where my hand can carry what your hand cannot. Jochebed could not walk into Pharaoh's courts and overthrow the decree. She could not stand against the power of Egypt in her own strength. She could not control the river, command the current, silence every threat, or guarantee every moment of the child's journey. But she could obey the wisdom I gave her. She could prepare the basket. She could release him into a covering greater than her arms. And I want you to see this, my beloved child. The river did not have the final word. Pharaoh's house did not have the final word. The decree of the enemy did not have the final word. The water that looked dangerous became the pathway of preservation. The place connected to the oppressor became the place where I hid the deliverer. The house that should have been a threat became the house where Moses was received, fed, named, and preserved until the appointed time. What looked like loss in the mother's hands was not loss in mine. What looked like surrender was not abandonment. It was the beginning of a protection no human plan could have designed. Do not forget what is written in Exodus, how the daughter of Pharaoh came down to bathe, how she saw the basket among the reeds, how compassion moved where danger had been expected. I was already arranging steps Jochebed could not see. I was already placing Miriam near enough to speak at the right time. I was already turning the river, the reeds, the cries of a baby, the heart of a princess, and the wisdom of a young sister into one hidden work of deliverance. Before the basket touched the water, my providence was already waiting downstream. My beloved child, this is why I am speaking to the place in you that is afraid to release. There are loved ones in your family who are on waters you cannot step into. There are children walking through choices you cannot manage. There are spouses carrying battles you cannot fully understand. There are parents aging in ways you cannot reverse. There are siblings, grandchildren, relatives, and people you love deeply who are moving through currents that make your heart tremble. You want to run beside the river. You want to keep your hand on the basket. You want to stop every wave, answer every danger, remove every enemy, and make every heart choose the path of life. But my beloved child, do not call it failure when I ask you to place what you love into my hands. Do not call it failure when your arms reach their limit. Do not call it failure when prayer becomes the basket and trust becomes the river. Do not call it failure when I ask you to stop confusing control with covering. You are not abandoning them when you surrender them to me. You are placing them beneath a wisdom wider than your sight, beneath a mercy deeper than your fear, beneath a protection that can move through rivers, palaces, dreams, strangers, delays, and doors you never knew existed. There are times when you must still speak. There are times when you must still act. There are moments when I will ask you to prepare carefully, to set boundaries wisely, to give counsel gently, to pray without ceasing, to watch with discernment, and to love with a clean heart. But there are also moments when your love must stop trying to be everywhere and must become trust. There are moments when you must place the son, the daughter, the marriage, the sick one, the distant one, the stubborn one, the wounded one, and the one you cannot persuade into my faithful hands and say, Lord, I have done what you gave me to do. Now carry what I cannot carry. Do you see, my beloved child? Jochebed's release did not send Moses into emptiness. It sent him into a divine arrangement already prepared. Her hands let go, but my hand did not. Her eyes could not follow every movement, but my eyes never left him. Her heart could not control the current, but my purpose was moving through the current, and so it is with your family. When you release them to me, you are not sending them into nothing. You are placing them into an unseen covering already arranged, a mercy already moving, a providence already waiting in places your eyes have not yet reached. Rest your heart there tonight. What leaves your hands in faith does not leave my care. Remember Hagar in the wilderness, my beloved child. Remember the woman who walked away with a child beside her and a skin of water in her hand, carrying not only the weight of the journey but the weight of a future she could no longer understand. She had already known rejection. She had already known being sent away. She had already known what it felt like to be caught inside a family wound that was larger than her own strength. And now she was in the desert, with the sun above her, the sand beneath her feet, and the child she loved growing weaker before her eyes. Do you think I did not see her when the water was spent? Do you think I did not see the fear rise in her chest as she looked at Ishmael and realized she could not provide what he needed? A mother can endure much pain in her own body, but to watch her child suffer and not know how to stop it is a grief that cuts deeply. She could bear thirst, but she could not bear his weakening. She could bear wandering, but she could not bear the sound of his life fading. She placed him under one of the shrubs because her heart could not stand close to what she feared was the end. She sat at a distance and lifted up her voice and wept. My beloved child, I know that place. I know the wilderness where family fear becomes too much for the heart to look at directly. I know what it feels like when someone you love is suffering and you cannot fix them, when the water of your strength is gone, when the words you used to speak no longer seem to reach them, when the prayers you prayed feel as though they have fallen into dry ground. I know the ache of watching a son, a daughter, a spouse, a parent, a sibling, or a beloved one struggle beneath something you cannot remove. I know the helplessness that comes when love is deep but power feels small. But listen to me, my beloved child. The story did not end with the empty skin of water. It did not end with Hagar's tears. It did not end beneath the shrub where fear tried to speak its final word. As written in Genesis, I heard the voice of the boy. I heard the cry of the child. I saw the tears of the mother, and I opened her eyes to what fear had hidden. The well was already there. The provision was already near. The answer had not been created only after she cried. It was present, but pain had covered her sight. Fear had narrowed her vision until all she could see was emptiness in her hand and suffering before her eyes. Do you see, my beloved child? Sometimes the wilderness does not mean I have prepared nothing. Sometimes the wilderness means your eyes are weary. Sometimes grief, panic, exhaustion, and long disappointment make the heart stare only at what is empty. Hagar saw the empty water skin, but I saw the well. She saw the child beneath the shrub, but I saw a future. She heard the sound of despair, but I heard the beginning of a promise still alive. What looked dry to her was not dry to me. What looked final to her was not final to me. What looked impossible beneath the heat of the wilderness was still within the reach of my mercy. And I am speaking this over your family tonight. Do not believe there is no well simply because the problem has lasted long. Do not believe there is no mercy simply because the pain has become familiar. Do not believe there is no answer simply because your eyes have been trained by disappointment to expect only loss. There are family wildernesses where addiction seems to have drained every hope, where estrangement has lasted so many years that silence feels permanent, where unpaid bills pile up like stones in the desert, where a diagnosis has made the whole house quiet, where depression has placed someone you love beneath a shadow, where rebellion has carried a child far from wisdom, where grief has changed the sound of every room, where loneliness has settled over an aging parent, where legal trouble has brought shame and fear, where spiritual dryness has made prayer feel distant and the heart feel numb. I see all of it. Not one name has disappeared from my sight. Not one tear has fallen outside my keeping. Not one family wilderness is hidden from me. You may see only the empty skin of water. You may see only what has run out, the money that ran out, the patience that ran out, the health that weakened, the communication that broke, the tenderness that dried up, the faith that feels thin, the opportunity that seems lost. But I am not limited to what is left in your hand. I am the God who opens wells in dry places. I am the God who hears the child even when the mother can no longer find words. I am the God who sees the one lying beneath the shrub and the one weeping at a distance. I am near to both. My beloved child, tonight I am not only comforting you, I am also preparing wells for the loved ones you worry about. I am arranging mercy in places they have not yet recognized. I am placing help along roads you cannot travel. I am stirring remembrance in hearts that seem hardened. I am sending strength into rooms where you are not present. I am creating openings where your eyes see only walls. I am preserving breath, awakening conscience, softening bitterness, bringing the right voice at the right hour, and making provision rise in the very wilderness you thought had swallowed the future. So tonight, do not sit only beside the empty water skin. Do not stare only at what has been spent. Do not let fear tell you that because your strength is gone, my provision is gone also. Lift your eyes, my beloved child. Ask me to open them. Ask me to show you the well of mercy already near. Ask me to help you see your family not only through the dryness of this moment, but through the faithfulness of the one who hears, sees, provides, and restores. The wilderness is real, but it is not greater than my covering. The water skin may be empty, but my well has not run dry. My beloved child, now lift your heart beyond the places your feet can stand. You have released what you cannot carry, and I have shown you that wells can be hidden in wilderness places. But I want you to understand something even deeper tonight. I am not only providing where you are empty, I am moving where you are absent. I am not waiting for you to arrive before I can protect. I am not waiting for you to understand before I can intervene. I am not standing outside the rooms that worry you, asking permission from fear to enter. I am God over the seen and the unseen, over the near and the far, over the spoken and the silent, over the door you can open and the door that has been shut against you. My beloved child, I am not limited by distance, locked doors, silence, pride, or the words they refuse to say to you. I can enter the bedroom where your child sleeps, even when you are in another room whispering their name with tears. I can stand beside the anxious spouse who turns away because they do not know how to explain the weight inside them. I can sit near the aging parent whose body is weaker than it used to be, whose thoughts trouble you, whose loneliness you cannot always reach. I can ride upon the highway with the family member driving late at night. I can walk hospital corridors before the doctor comes in. I can remain beside the one sitting in the dark, fighting thoughts they have not told anyone. I can draw near to the one who seems spiritually far away, the one who has stopped praying, stopped listening, stopped answering, stopped believing that my mercy is still calling their name. Do not measure my covering by your physical presence. Do not think your family is safe only when your eyes are watching them. Do not think I become weaker at the edge of your reach. Your arms have limits, but my arm does not. Your voice can be ignored, but mine can move beneath the surface of a heart. Your counsel can be refused, but my spirit can speak in the quiet places where pride has no audience. Your warnings can be dismissed, but I can place a holy interruption in the path of danger. I can delay what was meant to harm. I can expose what was hidden. I can cause the wrong invitation to lose its power. I can make a destructive door close without them even knowing how much mercy was in the closing. Remember Daniel in the lion's den, my beloved child. There is a story of a faithful man placed into a place where human help could not reach him. Those who loved righteousness could not climb down and fight for him. The king himself could not sleep, but he could not remove Daniel from the den by his own power once the decree had been sealed. The stone was placed. The night came. The lions were real. The danger was not imagined. And yet I was there before morning arrived. Do you see the comfort hidden in that story? Daniel's safety did not come because there were no lions. His safety came because I shut the mouths of what was stronger than human hands. I did not need to remove every danger in order to prove my presence. I commanded what could have devoured him to be restrained. I entered the place others could only fear from a distance. I stood in the den when no family member, no friend, no earthly defender could stand beside him. As written in Daniel, I sent my angel and shut the lions' mouths, and they did not hurt him because he was found innocent before me. My beloved child, I am still able to shut mouths. I can shut the mouth of accusation that has been speaking over your family. I can shut the mouth of temptation that calls someone you love back into chains. I can shut the mouth of bad influence, sudden danger, spiritual oppression, and destructive patterns that have roared loudly in your house. I can silence the voice that says they will never change. I can restrain the devouring thing that has waited for weakness. I can place a boundary around what thinks it has permission to destroy. The lions may be real, but they are not sovereign. The battle may be loud, but it is not above my command. There are attacks you have seen and attacks you never knew I prevented. There were words that would have wounded deeper, but I held them back. There were roads that could have ended differently, but I covered the journey. There were influences that could have pulled harder, but I weakened their grip. There were nights when despair came close to someone you love, and I kept a small flame alive inside them. There were moments when anger almost became a decision, when bitterness almost became a wall, when temptation almost became a fall, when danger almost became a tragedy, and I stood in the unseen place and said, "No farther." So tonight, my beloved child, do not worship the roar. Do not sit in your bed listening only to the sound of what threatens your family. The lion's roar is not the final authority in the den. Fear roars. Accusation roars. Addiction roars. Depression roars. Conflict roars. Sickness roars. Rebellion roars. But I speak, and when I speak, even what has teeth must obey the boundary of my will. I know when to deliver by removing, and I know when to deliver by restraining. I know when to open the door, and I know when to stand inside the closed place until morning. My beloved child, I am not limited by distance, locked doors, silence, pride, or the words they refuse to say to you. Let this truth settle into the part of you that keeps trying to break into rooms I have already entered. Let it quiet the part of you that believes no one is watching if you are not watching. Let it strengthen the part of you that has been afraid to sleep. I am entering the rooms you cannot enter. I am standing in the den you cannot reach. I am covering the road, the hospital bed, the silent heart, the hidden battle, the far country, the closed door, and the night hour. And if I can shut the mouths of lions around those you love, then I can also quiet the storm inside your own heart. If I can command danger to stop at the boundary of my purpose, I can command your fear to bow before my peace. So breathe, my beloved child. The room you cannot enter is not empty of me. The place you cannot control is not beyond my covering. The loved one you cannot reach has not passed beyond my sight. Tonight, I am there. My beloved child, if I am in the rooms you cannot enter, then peace can stand at the door of your own heart tonight. Peace is not the proof that you have stopped loving your family. Peace is not coldness. Peace is not indifference. Peace is not you turning your back on the ones who still need prayer, wisdom, mercy, correction, healing, and covering. Peace is the holy watchman I place at the entrance of your soul, when you finally understand that panic cannot protect what belongs under my authority. You have thought, many times, that if your heart stayed tense enough, your love would be proven. You have thought that if your mind kept returning to the same fear, the same name, the same memory, the same possible outcome, then somehow your watching would build a wall around the people you love. But my beloved child, panic is not the same as prayer. Torment is not the same as intercession. Sleeplessness is not the same as faithfulness. There is a kind of love that prays deeply without being ruled by terror. There is a kind of love that cares without collapsing. There is a kind of love that weeps and still trusts, that speaks a name before me and then lets that name rest in my hands. Do not let fear teach you a false devotion. Fear says, if you stop trembling, you have stopped caring. Fear says, if you stop rehearsing the danger, you have abandoned them. Fear says, if you breathe, if you sleep, if you smile, if you eat, if you live, then you have betrayed the seriousness of what your family is facing. But I say to you, my beloved child, your peace is not betrayal. Your peace is obedience. Your peace is agreement with my throne. Your peace is the sound of your soul saying, Lord, you are God and I am not. Your peace closes doors that fear keeps trying to open. It shuts the door to torment. It shuts the door to accusation. It shuts the door to the endless imagining of tragedy before it happens. It shuts the door to the lie that your anxiety is the covering over your house. Remember what is written in Exodus. When my people stood before the sea and heard the sound of Pharaoh's army behind them, they could not open the waters by striving. They could not outrun the chariots by panic. They could not solve the impossible place by shouting fear into the wind. And my servant Moses spoke the word, the Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. Do you see, my beloved child? There are battles where your peace is not passivity, but position. There are moments when holding your peace is not doing nothing, but refusing to hand your soul over to the enemy while I am making a way through what looks impossible. You have fought many family battles by thinking harder, calling again, explaining again, pleading again, checking again, imagining again, and fearing again. And there are times when I did ask you to act, to speak, to intervene, to set a boundary, to seek help, to make a wise decision. But there are other places where all your striving has not changed the heart, has not healed the wound, has not opened the closed door, has not brought the wandering one home, has not softened the bitter voice, has not removed the sickness, has not repaired what years have broken. In those places, I am not asking you to fight with torment. I am asking you to stand beneath my covering and hold your peace while I fight in ways you cannot see. My beloved child, you may still pray the same name again. You may still bring the same son, the same daughter, the same spouse, the same parent, the same sibling, the same family wound, the same fear, the same request before me. I am not tired of hearing the names you carry, but tonight, bring them from trust, not torment. Bring them as a child, placing precious things into the hands of a faithful father, not as one trying to wrestle my attention toward what I have never ignored. Say the name and breathe. Say the name and open your hands. Say the name and let your heart remember that I loved them before you loved them, saw them before you saw them, formed them before you held them, and can reach them after your strength is gone. So tonight, my beloved child, breathe slowly. Let your shoulders drop. Open your hands, even if they tremble. Name each loved one before me, one by one. Do not rush. Do not gather them all into one fearful cloud. Speak them gently. Place the worried child into my covering. Place the distant one into my covering. Place the sick one into my covering. Place the angry one into my covering. Place the one who has wounded you into my covering. Place the one you cannot understand into my covering. Place the one who will not listen into my covering. And after each name, let your open hands preach to your anxious heart that they are not being dropped into emptiness. They are being surrendered into me. Say this with me in the quiet place of your soul. Tonight, I lay down the burden of being everywhere, fixing everyone, and predicting every danger. Let those words become a gate closing behind fear. Tonight, I lay down the burden of being everywhere, fixing everyone, and predicting every danger. I receive the peace of the one who watches without panic, covers without weariness, loves without fear, and fights without losing. I will pray, but I will not be ruled by terror. I will love, but I will not pretend to be God. I will care, but I will place my family under the authority of the one whose arm is never too short to save. And my beloved child, as peace begins to stand guard at your door, I will also begin touching the places where family pain has made your heart tired and resentful. Because sometimes the burden you carry is not only fear for them, but pain from them. Sometimes you are exhausted not only because you love them, but because their choices, their words, their silence, their repeated patterns, and their refusal to change have wounded you deeply. I see that too. I will not ask you to pretend it did not hurt. I will not call your tears small. But I will lead you into a peace that is strong enough not only to release fear, but also to begin releasing the resentment that has been chaining your soul to what they did. For now, rest in this truth. Peace does not mean you have stopped caring. Peace means you have placed your family under my authority. Peace means the door of your heart is guarded by trust. Peace means fear may knock, but it does not have to come in and rule the house. Peace means you can pray and breathe in the same moment. Peace means you can love them and still sleep. Peace means you can stand before the sea, hear the sound behind you, and believe that I am still able to make a way where your striving has reached its end. Hold your peace, my beloved child. I am fighting for you. I am covering them, and I am watching the door. My beloved child, I saw the moment when your family burden became more complicated than fear. I saw when love became mixed with disappointment, when prayer became mixed with anger, when loyalty became mixed with exhaustion, and when the names you carried before me also became the names that hurt you. I know there are wounds that come from strangers, but I also know there are wounds that come from the table where you expected safety, from the house where you expected understanding, from the voices that should have spoken blessing, but instead spoke blame, silence, criticism, or abandonment. Do not hide that pain from me. Do not cover it with religious words while it still bleeds inside you. I saw the apologies that were never spoken. I saw the help that was never offered. I saw the way responsibility fell on your shoulders while others walked away as though your strength had no limit. I saw the times you were blamed for what you did not break, judged for what you tried to heal, misunderstood when you were only trying to keep the family from falling apart. I saw the years when you carried more than others knew. when you smiled in front of people who had no idea how heavy your heart had become behind closed doors. My beloved child, I will not ask you to pretend the wound was small. I will not call betrayal a misunderstanding when it cut deeply. I will not call neglect harmless when it left you lonely. I will not call repeated patterns insignificant when they trained your soul to expect pain from the very people you kept praying for. I am the God of truth. My mercy does not require lies. My forgiveness does not erase reality. My peace does not demand that you deny what happened. I saw it clearly. Not one hidden wound was lost before me. Not one tear you swallowed was unseen. But listen to me tenderly tonight. Do not let family pain turn your heart into a prison. Do not let what they did become the walls around your breathing. Do not let their hardness make your spirit hard. Do not let their silence become a chain around your voice. Do not let their failure to love you well teach your soul to live guarded from my healing. My beloved child, do not let the people you are praying for become the reason your own soul cannot breathe. Remember Joseph, my beloved child. Remember the son who was betrayed not by enemies from a far country, but by his own brothers. He knew the pain of being hated by those who shared his blood. He knew what it was to be thrown into a pit by hands that should have protected him. He knew what it was to be sold, removed, forgotten, falsely accused, and delayed through seasons he did not choose. There were years when the wound could have become his identity. There were nights when he could have rehearsed every face, every voice, every cruel decision, every moment of abandonment. But I was with Joseph in the pit. I was with him in the house of slavery. I was with him in the prison. I was with him in the long silence before the palace door opened. Do you see, my beloved child, I did not excuse what his brothers did. I did not call their betrayal righteous. I did not pretend the pit was gentle, but I worked in a place deeper than their sin. I positioned Joseph in a way that bitterness could never have prepared him for. I taught him wisdom without allowing hatred to own his soul. I lifted him into authority, not so he could become a prisoner wearing royal clothes, but so he could preserve life. When his brothers finally stood before him, he did not deny the evil that had been done. As written in Genesis, he said that what they meant for evil, I meant for good, to save many people alive. My beloved child, forgiveness is not saying that evil was good. Forgiveness is not removing every boundary. Forgiveness is not returning to unsafe patterns as though wisdom has no place. Forgiveness is not pretending that the wound did not matter, or that the years were not costly, or that the words did not leave marks. Forgiveness is releasing the poison from your own hands, while I handle truth, justice, correction, and restoration in my time. Forgiveness is refusing to let their sin continue ruling your inner house. Forgiveness is placing the offense before me and saying, Lord, I will not carry this as my master anymore. There are some things I will ask you to release, and there are some boundaries I will ask you to keep. Do not confuse release with foolishness. A healed heart can still be wise. A forgiving soul can still say no. A merciful spirit can still step back from repeated harm. Joseph forgave, but he also tested what was in his brothers before he entrusted them with closeness. Mercy walked with discernment. Love did not become blindness. Grace did not become permission for more destruction. Let me teach you that same wisdom. Because when bitterness sits in the heart, even prayer becomes heavy. You may pray for your family, but underneath the prayer, your soul may still be rehearsing accusation. You may ask me to cover them, but underneath the words, there may be a hidden desire that they finally feel the weight they placed on you. You may say you want healing, but pain may keep replaying the trial in your mind, calling witnesses, presenting evidence, demanding payment again and again. I understand why your heart does this. Pain wants justice, wounds want acknowledgement, but I am telling you tonight, you do not have to become the courtroom, the judge, the prison guard, and the prisoner all at once. Give the case to me. Give me the words they never admitted. Give me the years they never thanked you for. Give me the burdens they placed on you without seeing your exhaustion. Give me the family history that still aches when certain names are spoken. Give me the anger you were afraid to confess because you thought it made your love less holy. I already knew it was there. Bring it into my light, and I will not shame you. I will wash it. I will loosen it. I will teach your heart how to pray without chains around it. A heart free from bitterness can pray with clearer authority. A heart released from revenge can rest without secretly standing guard over old pain. A heart surrendered to me can bless without being controlled, set boundaries without hatred, remember without being ruled, and love without becoming trapped. This is not weakness. This is freedom. This is the peace of a soul that has stopped drinking poison while waiting for someone else to change. So tonight, my beloved child, open your hands again. Place not only your family's danger before me, but your family's wounds. Place the offense before me. Place the disappointment before me. Place the unmet expectation before me. Place the name that still tightens your chest before me. And say, Lord, I release my right to be ruled by this pain. I release revenge. I release the burden of forcing acknowledgement. I release the prison of bitterness. Teach me wisdom. Teach me boundaries. Teach me mercy. Teach me how to breathe again. And as I free your heart, I am also preparing something beyond what you can see. I am not only covering each family member one by one, I am beginning to rebuild broken family walls with mercy and wisdom. I am touching cracked places, old patterns, buried griefs, and rooms where love has been afraid to enter. Do not fear the work of forgiveness. It is not the end of justice. It is the beginning of freedom. Let your soul breathe, my beloved child. I am covering your family, and I am healing you too. My beloved child, I am beginning to rebuild the walls you thought were too broken. I am touching the places in your family that you stopped naming because every time you named them, pain answered back. I am touching the trust that was cracked by betrayal, the communication that became silent after too many harsh words, the prayer that dried up because disappointment stayed too long, the provision that felt shaken after loss, the unity that was torn by division, and the hope that grew tired after repeated delays. Do not look at the broken place and decide that I have finished speaking over it. Do not look at the rubble and call it the final shape of your household. I am the God who can stand before what has fallen and still see what can be rebuilt. Remember Nehemiah, my beloved child. Remember the man who heard that the walls of Jerusalem were broken down and its gates were burned with fire. He did not pretend the report was small. He wept, he mourned, he fasted, he prayed. He carried the burden before me before he ever carried tools in his hands. And when the time came to rebuild, he did not rebuild with noise alone, or with emotion alone, or with one sudden dramatic moment that erased every ruin. He rebuilt with prayer, courage, order, watchfulness, and patient obedience. Stone by stone, gate by gate, family by family, assignment by assignment. The wall that looked impossible became whole again because I was with the work. Do you see, my beloved child? Restoration is not always loud. Sometimes I rebuild a family through one softened conversation that would have once become an argument. Sometimes I rebuild through one restrained reaction, when the old pattern tries to rise and someone chooses peace instead of accusation. Sometimes I rebuild through one honest apology, spoken with trembling lips after years of pride. Sometimes I rebuild through one boundary that protects love from becoming chaos. Sometimes I rebuild through one prayer whispered over a sleeping child, one meal shared without conflict, one bill paid after a season of lack, one phone call answered, one tear confessed, one truth spoken without cruelty, one night where no one walks away in bitterness. Do not despise the small stones, my beloved child. A wall is not rebuilt by one stone alone, but one stone still matters. A family is not healed in one moment alone, but one moment surrendered to me can become the beginning of a new pattern. You have wanted the whole house changed by morning. You have wanted every heart softened at once, every wound acknowledged at once, every apology given at once, every fear removed at once. I understand the weariness behind that longing. But I am teaching you to recognize my hand, even when restoration begins quietly. Seeds under soil are alive before they break the surface. Roots grow in hidden places before branches show fruit. Dawn is already winning before the whole sky becomes bright. Do not measure my work only by immediate visible change. Do not say, I am not moving because the person still seems stubborn. Do not say, I am absent because the conversation is still difficult. Do not say the wall cannot rise because the rubble is still visible. There are things I am loosening beneath the surface. There are memories I am bringing into light. There are convictions I am forming in secret. There are words I am preparing before they are spoken. There are doors I am closing to old destruction, and doors I am opening to wisdom, humility, repentance, and peace. What you call delay may be my patient work in foundations you cannot see. My beloved child, I can restore what shouting could not repair, what worry could not hold together, and what years of strain made you believe was permanently ruined. I can restore tenderness where harshness became normal. I can restore prayer where spiritual dryness settled over the home like dust. I can restore financial stability after seasons of pressure, loss, confusion, and fear. I can restore unity after division taught everyone to stand on separate sides. I can restore hope after repeated disappointment made your heart afraid to expect anything good. I can teach a family how to speak again. I can teach a house how to breathe again. I can teach wounded hearts how to come near with wisdom, not with old weapons in their hands. But listen tenderly, my beloved child. You are not the contractor of the whole restoration. You are not responsible for carrying every stone, repairing every gate, correcting every heart, funding every lack, healing every wound, and making every person ready. That burden belongs to me. You are called to be faithful with the stone I place in your hand. Pray when I lead you to pray. Apologize when I convict you. Speak truth when I give you peace and timing. Stay silent when your words would only come from fear. Hold your boundary when love needs wisdom. Refuse bitterness when old pain asks for a throne. Choose humility when pride wants to defend itself more than it wants healing. A faithful stone in the wall still matters. One peaceful heart in a troubled family still matters. One person who refuses to pass down the same anger still matters. One voice that blesses instead of curses still matters. One soul that brings the household before me night after night still matters. Do not underestimate what I can do through your surrendered obedience. You may not control the whole rebuilding, but you can become part of what I am restoring. You can become a place where the old pattern stops. You can become a doorway for mercy. You can become a watchman of prayer without becoming a prisoner of fear. So tonight, my beloved child, you will no longer watch the broken places alone. You will no longer sit beside the ruins, as though all repair depends on your tired hands. You will invite me into the cracked walls, the burned gates, the silent rooms, the strained conversations, the financial burdens, the spiritual dryness, the divided hearts, and the hope that has been buried beneath years of disappointment. You will say, Lord, cover what I cannot cover, heal what I cannot heal, rebuild what I cannot rebuild. Teach me my part, and free me from trying to play yours. And as you place your family before me, remember this. The rubble is not greater than my mercy. The delay is not greater than my timing. The wound is not greater than my healing. The silence is not greater than my voice. The past is not greater than my power to restore. I am rebuilding the walls you thought were too broken, and even where you cannot yet see the stones rising, my hand has already begun the work. Tonight, bring me the household. Bring me the names. Bring me the ruins. I will cover. I will heal. I will rebuild. So tonight, my beloved child, do not only think about surrender, pray it. Do not only feel the burden loosening, place it before me with your own lips, even if your voice is soft, even if your room is quiet, even if tears come before words. Let this become the moment where your hands open and your soul says, Lord, my family belongs beneath your covering, not beneath my fear. Say with me now, slowly, from the deepest place within you, Lord, tonight I place my family under your covering. I bring before you every name I have carried in worry, every face I have watched with concern, every person I have tried to protect with my own strength. I confess that I cannot be everywhere. I cannot see everything. I cannot prevent every danger. I cannot enter every room, change every heart, heal every wound, or control every decision. But you are present where I cannot be present. You are awake where I am tired. You are strong where I am weak. You are already moving in places my hands cannot reach. Tonight, Lord, I place my home under your covering. Cover the doors, the windows, the conversations, the thoughts, the atmosphere, the memories, and the unseen places where fear has tried to settle. Let peace stand like a watchman at the entrance of this house. Let every spirit of confusion, strife, heaviness, torment, and division lose its place here. Let fear not rule this home tonight. Let anxiety not sit at the table. Let old anger not take the throne. Let your mercy fill the rooms where tension has been living. Let your presence be stronger than every shadow. I place my children under your covering, the little ones, the grown ones, the near ones, the distant ones, the obedient ones, the wandering ones, the ones who speak openly, and the ones who hide their pain behind silence. Cover their minds, cover their bodies, cover their friendships, cover their steps, cover what they watch, what they hear, what they believe, and what they are becoming. Restrain hidden danger before it reaches them. Interrupt destructive paths. Send the right voices. Close the wrong doors. Open their eyes to truth. Let mercy meet each one in the place they need it most. I place my spouse under your covering, or the place in my heart where marriage has carried longing, pain, confusion, or hope. Cover the love that has been tested. Cover the covenant that has grown tired. Cover the communication that needs healing. Cover the wounds that have made tenderness difficult. Where there has been distance, bring wisdom. Where there has been hardness, bring humility. Where there has been fear, bring peace. Where there has been betrayal, bring truth and holy restoration according to your will and your righteousness. I place my parents under your covering. I place my siblings under your covering. I place my relatives, caregivers, in-laws, grandparents, cousins, and every branch of this family before you. Cover the aging, the weary, the lonely, the sick, and the ones who feel forgotten. Cover the ones carrying responsibilities no one else sees. Cover the ones who are tempted, confused, addicted, angry, proud, or too wounded to ask for help. Cover the prodigals who have walked far from home and far from prayer. Cover the one who says they are fine while their soul is breaking. Cover the one who refuses correction. Cover the one who does not yet know how much they need you. And now declare this, my beloved child, not as empty words, but as agreement with my covering. No weapon formed against this family will prosper. Every tongue that rises in accusation will be answered by the mercy and truth of God. Fear will not rule this home tonight. Hidden danger will be restrained. Destruction will not have the final word. Mercy will meet each loved one in the place they need it most. The covering of God reaches farther than my control, deeper than my fear, and stronger than every plan of darkness. Say it again if your heart needs to hear it. My family is covered by God tonight. And if you are listening with others, or if this prayer is touching a place in you that words have not touched in a long time, write this declaration as an act of faith and agreement. My family is covered by God tonight. Let that sentence become more than a comment. Let it become a stone in the wall of prayer. Let it become a witness against fear. Let it become a small altar in the middle of this night, where your heart says, Lord, I trust you with what I cannot hold. Now bring me your own heart too. Say, Lord, I release false responsibility. I release the burden of being the savior of my family. I release the fear that if I rest, everything will fall apart. I release the guilt that says I have not done enough when I have already given what I could. I release the torment of imagining every possible loss before it happens. I receive your peace. I receive your covering. Teach me to forgive where bitterness has remained. Teach me to bless without being controlled. Teach me to set boundaries without hatred. Teach me to sleep without dread and wake with strength. My beloved child, I hear this prayer. I receive these names. I am not confused by the parts you could not explain. I know the history behind every tear. I know the hidden battles behind every person you have placed before me. And I say over your family tonight, I am rebuilding what has been broken. I am softening what has become hard. I am guiding what has wandered. I am covering what human hands cannot reach. I am entering the rooms you cannot enter, touching the hearts you cannot change, guarding the moments you cannot predict, and preparing mercy in places that still look dry to you. So leave the names with me. Leave the prayer requests before me. And if your heart is carrying a specific burden for your family, write it down so others can stand with you in prayer. Do not carry it alone in silence. Let prayer surround the house. Let agreement rise. Let faith speak where fear has been speaking too long. Tonight, your family is not uncovered. Tonight, your home is not forgotten. Tonight, your burden has been placed in my hands. Rest your soul, my beloved child. I am covering them. I am covering you, and my mercy is already at work. My beloved child, rest now, because I am not resting from my love, my mercy, or my watch over your house. Your eyes may grow heavy, your body may ask for sleep, your thoughts may still try to return to the names, the needs, the dangers, the questions, and the unfinished places. But I am telling you tenderly tonight, you do not have to stay awake to prove that you care. You do not have to keep fear alive in order to keep love alive. You do not have to stand guard over what you have already placed beneath my covering. I saw the burden before you ever found words for it. I saw the nights when your heart walked from room to room in worry. I saw the way you tried to carry your family with tired hands, as though everything would fall apart if you loosened your grip. I corrected the false responsibility that told you that you had to become the covering. I reminded you that love can pray, love can serve, love can speak, love can protect with wisdom, but love was never meant to replace me. I showed you the basket on the river. I showed you the well in the wilderness. I showed you that release is not abandonment, and dry places are not empty when my mercy has already gone before you. My beloved child, I entered the rooms you could not enter. I reached the roads you could not follow. I touched the hearts you could not change. I taught you that peace is not carelessness, but surrender under my authority. I loosened bitterness from your hands, so family pain would not become a prison around your soul. I began rebuilding the walls you thought were too broken, stone by stone, prayer by prayer, mercy by mercy, even in places where you cannot yet see the rising. So tonight, do not return to the old watchtower of fear. While you sleep, I am able to guard hearts. While you sleep, I am able to interrupt danger. While you sleep, I am able to speak in dreams, strengthen the weak, comfort the grieving, convict the wandering, soften the proud, steady the anxious, and prepare answers that are not yet visible to your eyes. Heaven has not stopped watching because your strength has reached its end. My beloved child, your rest is not the moment your family becomes uncovered. Your rest is the moment you agree that my covering is greater than your control. Declare this softly before you close your eyes. I do not carry my family alone. God is covering what I cannot carry. Say it again until your soul hears it. I do not carry my family alone. God is covering what I cannot carry. Let this declaration become the door you close against torment tonight. Let it become the pillow beneath your weary thoughts. Let it become the quiet answer to every fear that tries to rise after this prayer. And if this word has met you in the hidden place, let your agreement become intercession for someone else. Like this message as a simple act of faith, saying, Lord, I receive this prayer over my house. Share it with someone who is carrying family fear tonight, someone who needs to remember that they are not the covering, but they are covered by me. Subscribe so these messages of peace, protection, and prayer can continue meeting your heart in weary seasons. And write the name or initials of the loved one you are placing under. My covering, not as fear, but as faith, not as pressure, but as prayer, so others can stand with you before me. Now rest, my beloved child. May my peace guard your heart. May my peace guard your home. May my peace guard your family. May my peace guard your sleep through the night. And as you rest, remember this: I am still watching. I am still covering. I am still working. Your family is in my hands tonight.